Waldo Mestre. I am the Director of Citizen Services for the City of Buffalo. This is our block chat for this Friday. Again, good seeing everyone here. I am now going to turn things over for our announcements. And thank you for those who share our announcements. We started our block chat because we wanted to share information and we wanted to make sure that information was two-way. That not only were we sharing information out to the community, but we wanted community to share information out to each other, kind of like a clearinghouse. Want to again thank the Board of Block Clubs for being a great partner, both professionally and personally, in terms of the work that they're out there doing. Yeoman's work. Many people forget that they are volunteers, but they're like these super people, right? Who give selflessly of this helping people out. And so again, thank you for the work that you guys have been doing. And so, Nicole, I'm going to pass this over to you, and then I'm going to hear a little bit about what's going on with our clean sweep. We had a tremendous clean sweep. And then we're going to hear from Ron, who's going to be give a little pitch for the crime prevention through environmental design courses that we've been doing. And we've already knocked out one. We're going to be doing quite a few more of those in the community. So, Nicole.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to our block chat. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Let me know if you can see it.
I think we are good. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. So of course, we still just want to keep pushing that, if you're unable to pay rent or you need any help, the City of Buffalo can help you with the Emergency Rental Assistance Program. So you can visit standupbuffalo.com or call 211 for help with your application. We are doing free community crime prevention training. It's going to be held next week at the Buffalo Employment Training Center. But of course, for more information as this unfolds, you can contact Ron Dixon, the special project manager. And he, of course, is going to be talking more about this training that's coming up as well. For Buffalo announcements, if you need public service announcements to find out what's going on in the city of Buffalo, you can text Join Buffalo to 30890. And if you're only interested in finding out about parking and parking updates, you can just text parking updates to 30890. Of course, we have the mayor has a radio show every Sunday at 1 p.m. The Talk of the Town. You can catch us on his Facebook, WUFO, or Power 96.5. We in the Division of Citizen Services are accepting applications for AmeriCorps Vistas. If you know somebody who would make a great Vista, you can refer them to us, or they can fill out the application online as well, or they can call in at the number listed. Bulk trash collection. This is I believe the last week actually of the bulk trash fall collection coming up. It's going to be at the University District at the next week. So you're going to put it out, of course, on that Sunday, October 17th, in order for your trash to be collected for the week. If you're looking to start a block club, you can contact the Board of Block Clubs, Buffalo and Erie County Board of Block Clubs. They have an email, bobcbuffalo@gmail.com, or you can reach them by phone or Facebook and Instagram as well. So two really awesome initiatives. There is the Focusing the Fatherhood Flame. This is October 23rd. This is the Chapel, Cheektowaga campus. You can learn about how fathers contribute to community success, what healthy fatherhood investment looks like, and so much more. This is sponsored by the Buffalo Prenatal and Perinatal Network. And you can register by scanning that QR code or go to the link there on the screen, which I can put in the chat box. And there's also the Nurturing Fathers program. So this is a free program offered virtually, and it's also offered as a hybrid program to help with parenting skills, family relationships, and more. This is going into the second cohort, and you can register at the link provided or contact the number there. If you're still interested in biking to work or biking around Buffalo, there's the e-bike library. You borrow them, you don't have to rent them. It's a program that's free of charge, and you can find out more through ESBC's e-bikes. And so that you can visit the website listed there, or you can go on Facebook or Instagram to find out more. If you need help replacing your roof, you can visit NeighborWorks. So this grant is available only through the 15th of October. It is a nonprofit organization that will sponsor qualified roof projects. And so you do have to meet some of their details, but you can find out more about this on their website as well, or you can call the phone number listed there. So there is a virtual class that talks about a professional nutritionist that will be talking about budgeting and eating healthy. This is every Tuesday at 6 p.m. From September 21st to the 26th of October. You can join one or all sessions, and they're free and open to the public. October 15th, there's the Schiller Park Harvest Fest from 4 to 7, the Schiller Park Senior Center. Of course, it's a celebration, so free food, prize giveaways, raffles, and more. And then if you need to practice your English, there's the English Conversation Group at 2 locations now in Lackawanna and in Amherst on Wednesdays and Fridays, and these are free as well and sponsored by Buffalo Literacy Buffalo Niagara. There's also a study coming up. Participants will be compensated. So it's titled, are you in survival mode? And there's different eligibility to meet. You can learn more about mindfulness. And if you're interested in practicing better self-care, they would like to invite you to join us on the mindfulness journey. So you can complete the interest form here at the link below. On the flyer, or use the QR code, or you can contact the research team at the email or phone number provided.
And Nicole, can I just say something a little bit about that? I think it's important. Our speaker is going to be speaking about challenges of stress, but we all understand that the challenge year and a half, going on 2 years, that our community, this world, our country has been through individually and collectively. And so UB School of Nursing, along with the African American Health Task Force, if you don't know Pastor George Nichols, and the things that they are working on is trying to work and looking at issues of our health. We think about health, our physical health. When we think about health, we need to also think about our mental being as well. Being a COVID survivor, and I know there are a few people here, physical after effects of challenges, but there is also the mental aspects. And so we're just trying to, this organization is just trying to look at how some communities have been disproportionately affected more so than others. We all understand that there's certain zip codes here. And so please, if you know of anybody, we'll share this out with all of the people here in the block clubs, and they're looking for folks to be a part of this particular study. Thank you, Nicole.
Okay, so this brings us perfectly into the COVID-19 testing. So if you are still looking for a testing site, whether it be regular or rapid test, you can visit COVID-19 buffalony.gov. We also have information about the vaccinations listed on that site, as well as many different things pertaining to COVID reopening, and just general information for county and state. And so then, of course, also, if you do need emotional support, there is New York Project Hope, Coping with COVID, through the Buffalo Urban League. So this is an emotional support helpline. You can call in Monday through Saturday from 8 to 7. You can also email Project Hope at buffalourbanleague.org. And of course, it's free, anonymous, and confidential. So if you don't follow us on social media for different updates, you really should. Of course, you can follow us at the Division of Citizen Services on our Facebook, which is just at Buffalo Citizen Services. And then for other updates for 311, you can follow us on Facebook as well at Buffalo 311. And we also have an Instagram, which is Buffalo 311. And then, of course, if you don't follow the mayor, please follow him as well. His Facebook is at Mayor Byron Brown, and his Instagram is Mayor Byron Brown 716. And so if anybody, I just want to mention this, has announcements that they want me to announce on Black Chat, please forward them to me at the beginning of the week, or, as soon as possible for the following week. And then if you don't have my email, I will put it in the chat box. And so I'm going to introduce my colleague, Mike Smith. He is the coordinator, Save Our Streets coordinator, and Clean Sweep coordinator. So Mike.
Thank you, Nicole. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just talk briefly about the clean sweeps. We had a pretty eventful week in that program. We had 2 in one day, so thank you for everyone who participated in that. I know it was a lot. The first, on that Wednesday, Clean Sweep 26, we focused just on the Millicent Avenue homes. And there was, a lot going on in that community. It was an absolute blessing to be able to affect change there. The residents were very grateful, and I can't, say enough how amazing our partners and our city departments were in making sure that those residents were empowered. The primary issues were a lot to do with housing, a lot to do with the landlord. And our, Chief Housing Officer, Harold Cardwell, was out there along with the staff from Bureau. My colleague, Ron Dixon, was, offering the criminal prevention through environmental design training, just making sure that, everyone is empowered. And I want to let everyone know that we're not done over there. We're actually, looking into starting some programming to further empower those residents. We've been, I've been talking with Director Mestry, Ron, and a few other departments about, just making sure that we can, make sure that those residents are taken care of, because, some of the conditions that we saw over there were, unacceptable. So thank you, everyone. Special shout out to our Department of Public Works. They pulled over a ton of trash and debris out from just those homes. It was only about 100 units over there, and we were able to help them. So from there, we went on to Clean Sweep 27, also in the University District.
Hey, Mike, what I wanted to also add, I wanted to say thank you to you and to the residents over there. We attended a couple of community meetings and we looked at 311. I also wanted to shout out our building inspectors earlier this week, along with PPG and the law department, the inspections department, put on a webinar or seminar on our PRI, proactive rental inspections, and we started that here. There were residents. What we're finding out, it is a complex, and there is one out-of-town landlord, and this property, or many of these properties, may be in receivership, and both professionally and personally, we are going to put the full weight of city hall or city government and these departments on making sure this landlord complies. So the great thing here is that the residents were there. We are going to also work with the Board of Block Clubs. We want to be able to create a resident attendant council there, which is important. There was a lot of capacity to do that. And so, and we're going to do a very special crime prevention through environmental design course with those residents over there too. And so, I know we do this, and both professionally and personally, the work that we do, and every day is a blessing that I get in there. But this particular clean sweep was really an awesome one, and we're going to come back. And so again, I just want to thank all of the city departments that was a part of this. And we had the councilman that was out, Councilman Wyatt. We also had the mayor that was out as well. We had different departments all getting together. And Mike, I can't say enough for your leadership and putting that together too.
Okay. So thank you, Director Mestry, for those words. So yeah, again, exceptionally clean sweep that week. It was absolutely amazing, the work we were able to do. So from there, we went on to Clean Sweep 27, and we knocked that out. Thank you for everyone who hung with me on that day. I know it was a lot. So, that brings our total to, 3,927 residential homes visited. And so, again, that number continues to grow, and none of it would be possible without, this amazing team that I've been, blessed to work with. Next week, we're heading into Clean Sweep 28. We're going to be on the Ellicott District. We're starting on Peckham and Sherman. We're going to head down to Howard, come up Crenham, Broadway, and then comes down Emsley Street. And, only about 112 residential properties. So we should, it'll be a relatively quick one. And when I looked into the issues over there, a lot of vacant lots that they're going to want maintained, some illegal dumping. So we're going to go ahead and knock that out. Make sure that our, community partners can offer them everything we can. With that, I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to my colleague, Ron Dixon. But thank you again, everybody who, has been a part of this initiative.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. I know we've heard briefly about Director Mestres mentioned about the crime prevention initiative. You heard Mike mention about it, and you also heard Nicole mention about it. And so just a little bit briefly to go into, the CEPTED, what it is, and then what you guys can expect in these trainings. And so really the community crime prevention is a course that focuses on the entire community, collaborating to develop projects and programs to make our municipality safer. And so it focuses on growth of communities. And just really across the city of Buffalo by supporting community development. And so we're trying to empower residents, we're trying to empower citizens, and we're trying to empower businesses and organizations to create community development in some way through a community crime prevention plan. This course includes principal crime prevention through environmental design concepts, which is the CEPTED, and that really just focuses on 4 main points: natural access control, natural surveillance, territorial reinforcement, and maintenance. So what we're really doing is we're creating designs in the class, working within your cohorts or your organizations or groups. And then we're also on top of that throwing in maybe some social management programs for those different communities to empower those different various communities that may be lacking in some way. And then we're just on top of that adding the last piece, which would just be police initiatives on top of that. So you have the community working with the police, working with community organizations and businesses to create development that ultimately is going to lower the crime rate and make our city safer. So we encourage anyone who is looking to sign up or anyone who knows people or just want to get the information out, please share the information and have them email me that they're interested in taking the class, and we will get them signed up. I'm going to turn things back over to Director Mestres.
Good. With that crime prevention course, the second phase we've done because the first class went so well. I know we have 3 days there. We seem like we're going to be condensing it from a Tuesday, Wednesday, and we won't be using that Friday, I believe, right? Dr. Ron?
Yeah, that's correct. So it was originally the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but the last class we were able to complete in that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday phase. And so we're looking to continue the same approach for the next class, just doing the Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Good. And then we're going to be offering this pairing again, and we're going to be, moving around with the dates. We believe that we may be able to also shorten it and move around. We have a Tuesday, Wednesday. We understand that people are going to be mindful, might be able to switch it up on a Monday or move some other dates around. We'll be very mindful of those who would like to attend, but who can't. And again, we do understand that that's a huge chunk of time, but we're going to listen. Our customer service is the name of the game, and we want to make sure, and I know Ron and my staff here, we want to be mindful of that too. And also one of our great partners, which is the Board of Block Clubs, and making sure that we're working very, very cleanly with them as well too. So thank you, Ron, and thank you, staff. So let me, as we move on to the next phase and introduce our speaker and kind of set the stage on why we are, we bring different speakers here. We both bring folks from City Hall, from the county, and also from the community. Part of that here is listening and hearing what people are talking about. Many speakers we brought on have been requests. This particular speaker here, our title was The Consequence of Stress. And we talked about, not just the stress that we've been under from a pandemic, but there's just stresses that we all have that's all part of this. Even before the pandemic, I have a relationship with my physician and found out that, I have hypertension. And at first, I thought it was something that I was eating or something like that. And we kept on going back and forth with tests. And finally, my doctor, who I feel like I have a personal relationship, just sat me down. He says, "No, you need to relax. You need to, you're the issue. I watch you on TV. I did that. You're the worst kind. You internalize stuff. You don't, and you have to change." And then he told me I have to get another job. I looked at him, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's going to happen. But, I learned through him and through some other things how to kind of de-stress. I took up Tai Chi. I made sure that I had to change my lifestyle, not just with this eating, but just all of that. And I try to take care of myself. So I think we don't understand, and I don't want to talk too much because I don't want to get into the doctors, our speakers thing. But I think when we think about stress, we think that because we don't see it, we don't feel it, it doesn't affect us, but it does. So I've said enough. Let me introduce our speaker, Robert Sawyer. He's the Vice Chair of Clinical Affairs, Neurology at UB. He's the co-director of Gates Stroke Center. He's going to be exploring the connection between stress, anxiety, stroke, hypertension, which I just talked about, nutrition, as well as management and reduction techniques. So, Doc, thank you very much. And I am assuming the doctor is here. Nicole?
Yeah, I think that they're struggling to connect, so hold on one second.
Okay. Well, I think we all can talk a little bit about, the different anxieties that we have. I know I just talked a little bit about some of the things that we talked about, but I think, how many people here know or, have challenges here with, stress? And you can raise your hand. I know I just did, and I think, that's all around us when we're talking about stressors or those things that de-stress. I'm interested, and I know when the doctor comes in, what are some of those things? And I want you to put it in the chat. What are some of those things that you do to kind of de-stress? You can just put it in the chat here if you can. Sometimes they're complex things. I think we can learn from each other, in terms of that's us, and we can share that, yeah, let's put it in the chat. Okay, I see it. I see it. Some have talked a little bit about, oh, you know what? Linda's in the garden. She's doing that right now. So she's de-stressing right now. Meditation helps, which is important, to jog, right? Gym routine. And I think getting into a routine is an important thing. If you can't jog, taking a long walk, of course. I think that this has a whole, especially when you're walking in our neighborhood. Roberta said naps. I got you, Roberta. I need one now, And Joanne said, agree, take a walk. And this is important. I've created a secret place. And I think that's interesting because some may think that that's a physical place, right? Or it could be a mental place that we take. I think sometimes it's hard for us to walk away. A lot of times I'm at my computer and, I'll keep it and I'll just look away. And I in my office, I have these beautiful posters or reminders, and I love to read them. And I put them on there to take my mind away from some things. So I think sometimes creating a secret place which is a good thing. And she said she goes to it every day. And so we're looking at it. You know what? Exercise. You know, and you, Linda, you said I like to. Oh, you like to iron. I love it. You know what? I'm gonna tell you. I have a can of starch, and I'm pretty good with the ironing thing too. I think a little bit me because I'm the oldest in my family. I had to. That was my job. You know, I grew up in a household of women, and that was my de-stressor. It's like this, you know. So you find it calming. Um, and
Hello.
yes,
Oh, hi. This is Lakeisha from the Matt Urban Center. I am not able to be on a webcam, but thinking positive always helps me to relieve stress.
you know what? I think
Positive
you know what?
thinking.
Affirmations are very important. You know, and I think speaking it and then having it spoke to you, you know, it's one of our love languages, right? But affirmations, speaking that, I think that's an important thing. I think we have to model the way, but I think it does something to you not only to receive it but to speak it out, right? So thank you for that. You know, that was great. You
You're
know,
welcome.
Keith, he talked about he's a member of MVP. Great to see you. Great organization.
Thank you.
And you know what? His stress reliever is often silence and prayer, which is you know, an important thing. I think you know, my staff, and my friends, I have this saying. I said, "Less is more." You know, people
Yes.
is it's actually famous architect called Mies van der Rohe, German architect. You know, and when he would design things and whatever, and he would just talk about restraint. And he would say, "Less is more." And so
Yes.
sometimes, even in your house or the things that you do, it's like, and I often say, I'm like, less is more, meaning that you find those 3 or 4 words that are powerful. You don't need to do all of these, construct these big monuments out of a less is more. So I got you, you
You-
know, so silence and prayer is everything. Physical place every morning. Linda talked about dancing, right? And so, Keith, somebody said they wanted to echo your thing too. I think we all, you know, I don't want to underscore the importance of silence, but also having the belief. You know, we all have a belief in a higher power in some respect, or having a belief. And I think our faith,
Well,
whichever
Ron,
it is.
Ron, could I say something?
Oh, please do.
Um, it was a couple of years. Well, I was born in Niagara Falls, New York, raised in Buffalo. I'm 66 years old, but 27, 20, no, 20. Well, I've been back in Buffalo 3 years. 29 years ago, I had left Buffalo. Buffalo was just too much for me. It was too much going on, and I needed a change. My children were born in the Catskills, and they were still children. So I went back and I raised my children, and I just lived in the Catskills. And I would come to Buffalo occasionally and visit my family here. Well, on one of those visits, I ran into Neil Dobbins. And Neil Dobbins and I grew up together. I had known Neil since we were kids and in grade school. Neil told me about this program MVP that he was creating and what it was intended to, to address. He asked me to come back to Buffalo and help him. And he reminded me of our what we did when we were young, and how in a sense this was to come back and help repair our community. And since that time, I view it as a sense of atonement. I came back 3 years ago. He asked me to come back. I decided I would come back and help. I sat here 2 years ago, And I asked myself, was this just another adventure? Because I've been a very adventurous guy all over the country. Or was this something that I was really committed to? And I asked God to please, in some shape, form, or fashion, indicate to me what my purpose was. And I come to understand that my purpose here on this earth, here in this city, is to serve. I'm never going to hit the lotto for $1 billion. I'm never going to be rich and famous and have all the bling and all that. My purpose in Buffalo, New York, is to serve my community. And in the Bible, it says, serve with a glad heart. So I'm not doing it out of sense of obligation. I'm doing this because I believe that this is what I am intended to do. And being in the community and trying to repair our community can be very stressful at times. So I come home, I live alone. I don't cut on the television. I don't cut on any music. I sit in silence. Silence gets me back to where I need to be. And I read my Bible. I go to church every Sunday. And that's what I do. And that gives me the ability to go back out into the community. Because I mean, we ride around. You see the social ills. It sometimes it can be disheartening. But I'm committed, and I know if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. But that's where I'm at, and that's what MVP is all about.
No, I listen. I think it's a great organization, but I think I call it more than an organization. It's a movement.
It's a movement, absolutely.
I knew Neil. I think a few of us who knew Neil, and Carlonda, and Marlon over there, and a few other folks. You mentioned a couple of things that I just wanted to kind of double back, because I think it means something to not just the folks who are listening, but to communities. So sometimes we serve because it's in our DNA. Sometimes to atone, right?
Yes.
Is an important thing, because we live in the community that we should be trying to give back, and I think that's an important thing. You mentioned about not hitting the lotto or becoming whatever. I think today you hit the lotto. The fact that I'm listening to you and you sharing, we define what those riches are, right? So it may not be monetary, but this may be a gift. And I appreciate your voice, and I appreciate your opportunity to serve, because I think we all are doing that. Part of it is just making the connection, and that's what we're trying to do here today. Is an important thing. The other thing here is that you talked about taking care of you, right?
Yes.
We're all here. We all hear that. You get on the plane and the thing comes down. People's like, oh, they say not to put it on the person. You got to put it on you, right? And you have to make sure, because if you don't take care of you, how are you going to take care of others? And I think as people who are servants in this community, whether it be public servants who are working in government or those who are working in the community, we have to learn to take care of ourselves. And that's why these things that we talked about, silence, some people talked about prayer, some people talk about walking, exercise, gardening, those things that we have to do. We have to take that time, and sometimes we have to say, wait a second, I got to do that, because if I don't do that, you're going to run yourself ragged, or you're going to be reflective of the community that you're serving. And if the community you're serving is in need, and you're in need, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy that you would have to do that. And so part of it is you have to take that time, because these are stressors, right? When we talk about that, these are stressors, both physically and mentally. Hypertension is real, where they call it the silent killer. You're overworking your body, your mind, and those things, and we have to be mindful of that. You know, there are other stressors, and how we relate with people. You know, someone talked about having a kind word or those positive affirmations and speaking those things, right? And it's very important because if you don't model the way, listen, we're human. Every now and then, something might flare up in me. And if I don't surround myself with people who might just give me a wink or smile at me and kind of take me to another level, like, and I'm
Yep.
like, you know what? I was tripping. Okay. And being honest with people, being very, very honest. Sometimes we're afraid of how we talk with people. These are stressors that we have to learn, that it's all around us, right? And I think,
Yeah.
you know, Keith, you talked a little bit about that. So I just wanted to call you out and say thank you very much.
Well,
Um,
you're very welcome, because one last thing is that during one of our meetings the other day, we had a restorative circle. I don't know if you're familiar with.
I'm very familiar. I mean,
Okay,
this group is very familiar with restorative
right.
circles. Yes.
So I mentioned to them that sometimes my passion can be misinterpreted as being maybe being a little hostile, but I'm anything but. It is that I believe in what I'm doing. I promised Neil Dobbins on his deathbed that I would stay in MVP, that I would promote MVP, that I would continue the work that he started. His death affected me profoundly. I am just now beginning to come to terms with it. And I explained to people that, yeah, sometimes the fire rages up in me, and I have to damp it down. But it is only because I am a fervent believer in what we do. Our community is in crisis. And it can't be business as usual. And sometimes we have to be sometimes we can't be very polite and nice and soft and easy in addressing some of our issues. Sometimes it's going to require a little fire. Sometimes we may even have to step on toes. Neil Dobbins himself said that. He said, listen, I hope you're ready, because sometimes we may have to step on some toes. But our goal is to repair our community.
I think you're absolutely right. I think part of it here as a community and being trusted voices, and we all are trusted voices, we set the tone and the tenor of how we expect folks. And so some
Yes.
people say, hey, you know, it's going to come off kind of whatever. But I think if we set the tone about being honest, then people have an expectation of that. And I think
Yes.
as a community, we do that. As I'm looking more into some of the chats, I know Linda
Yeah.
was agreeing with you on a lot of different things, you know, and Linda said, you know, we're all called in different areas, you know,
Yes.
and he said, and you're right, Linda, that is one of my favorite biblical terms. It is your gift. It is the gift that will make it room for you, and I think that's an important thing.
Linda is a beautiful person. She
Yeah.
is strong, powerful, and she brings inspiration to MVP.
Yep.
You know, Linda, and we've talked about this. It's a matter, you could put it in street terms and say, find your lane, find your gift. We all have a gift. Find
I
that
talk
gift.
about it. We all, you know, I talk about with my staff, and everybody has a story, right?
Yes.
You know, and until we talk and communicate, and sometimes you don't have to physically tell your story. Your walk will tell your story, right?
Yes.
Your actions will tell that story.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that I know block clubs and you and all of that is, you know, service through you know, that tells a story. And once you tell that story, you model the way, you break cycles, right? You break those cycles, those things. You know, you talked about the Catskills, you know, You know, I know Mike Tyson has made the Catskills a little famous, but you
Yeah,
lived up in the Catskills, right? You know,
I
and we
lived up
talked
there
about that.
for
Hmm.
over a good 26 and a half years. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yep. And I think that's an important thing. I think what we're going close on
Can, can I
to
make a comment?
sometimes I am going to have you come. I do know that the doctor was pulled away. Obviously, their primary profession is taking care of that, and we're going to have the doc come back. Thank you, Francesca. I know you wanted to add something to the debate. I mean, I'm not going to call this a debate, a conversation.
Conversation.
Yeah, you know,
I
but
am too. I went.
and if it is a debate, this is probably the best debate that I've ever been into. Because if you debate, let's debate about stress and ways that we can de-stress. And I think that's important. So Francesca, how you doing?
Good. How are you? And I just want to say that the Dr. Sawyer, who was ready to do it yesterday, there was a emergency stroke that was called into the Gates Vascular Institute, which of course we know if that were our loved one, we would want him to be there as well. And when it comes to stress and hypertension, I just want to say one thing that I think that sometimes we don't we think about, we talk about, but we don't always do it, is what we eat and what we put in our system that might have a lot of sodium in it. Besides not necessarily taking your high blood pressure medication, that's one thing. But we know those hot dogs taste good. We know those things. We know like
Potato chips.
it tastes good. We know a lot of food tastes good, but a lot of food has sodium in it. And besides, if you're on medication, all I can say is please keep taking it. And at the same time, just watch what we eat. We love our ribs. Ribs have tons of sodium. Fried chicken has sodium. Pierogies have sodium. Cheese, we love cheese. Add a little more cheese to that. Cheese on your chili dog, cheese on your steak sandwich, all of that, and preservatives. Seasoned pepper? Many seasonings have salt. And when you look at the first ingredient, if it says sodium anything or salt, just put it back, because there's so many ingredients that have salt and sugar. And before COVID, I'm glad everyone is paying attention now, but before COVID, we were African Americans, Latinos, um, people living in health crises, education crises, health disparities, education disparities. We were all dying at a disproportionate rate. So COVID, yes, but before COVID, really, at the beginning of slavery, we've been dying. Babies, children, adults have been dying at a disproportionate rate. So I always look at what can we do to stop that cycle ourselves. We know that we do need reinforcements, but at the same time, as individuals, what can we also do for our families and ourselves just to make ourselves healthier? We love those food trucks. A lot of those food trucks, those meals are loaded with sodium. Sodium leads to high blood pressure. High blood pressure leads to stroke. Cardiac disease can lead to stroke. So all of the things we're pointing at, and COVID, there are many people who have had strokes as a result of COVID. So, we also have to take that de-stress, which is easier said than done. I'm not saying it's easy, but walking, I see where someone has walking, even walking up and down stairs, and we can walk in the winter. It might be cold as long as it's not icy, and you're able to do it. Now, I'm not saying if you can't walk, please don't try it, but they're just what can we do to make ourselves healthy, and that's all. And I again, I apologize for the doctor who was unable, Dr. Sawyer, he's a really good speaker, but there was a stroke case that recently came in, and he's one of the first people, if any of your loved ones have had a stroke, that you're going to see at the bedside.
Well, thank you, Francesca. That patient is in our prayers, and we're grateful that's doctor's primary mission, and we want him to make sure that he's taking care of that. Listen, I
Right.
think we had a great conversation about stress. I think we're going to bring that doctor in. But to be quite honest, I think what if I've learned anything today, sometimes the answer is within us. We talked about some of those things that we can do. Hopefully, that models the way for some other people. I want to say again, thank you to you guys. You guys are for the folks out in the field. Big shout out to Keith and Linda and everybody who jumped in and said a few things. I'm going to turn the rest of this over to Debbie, who is the president of the board of block clubs, and she's going to take us to rest. She may even give us some time back. Hey, Debbie.
Hi, how are y'all? I am going to give you some time back. I'm pretty quick on the draw here. You know how I roll. Good afternoon, everybody. What a great block chat. I got to say, even though we didn't have our speaker on, y'all had so much to say, and I was reading the chats. And you know what? The bottom line is we all got to work together and help one another, and know that you can pick up the phone and call anybody you want. So, y'all got my cell phone. So anytime you need me, just call. I'll do my best to be there. Nicole, thank you for sharing our flyer here at the agency. I appreciate you. Our block club meeting will be October 28th at 6:30 p.m. at the Westside Community Services at 161 Vermont Street. The flyer is being completed, and I will have it out on Monday so that we can get it going, and I'll have it to you, Nicole, for the block chats that are coming up. And really just support each other, support our events. There are so many events going on this weekend. I'm all over the board. For me, my Italian heritage, we're having our grand opening of our cultural center this Saturday. So I am like so stoked. Everybody, I just, I don't talk much about it, but I am so excited about tomorrow. And it's just a beautiful place, and whether you're Italian or not, please come and visit. I visit everybody's cultural centers as much as I can, and stop down and visit us. It's really beautiful, and it's just really a great place to be. And next week, Friday, 4 o'clock, Schiller Park Senior Center. Come on down. We are having a harvest fest. There'll be things for the kids, things for the seniors, and of course, we roll with the food. So there's going to be all kinds of food. If anybody would like to table, just reach out to me, let me know, or reach out to Citizen Services. They know how to get in touch with me. Everybody is welcome. And that's really it. I'm looking forward to the upcoming events that we're going to be having, especially next weekend. Again, there's Westside Promise is having a big event at Mass Ave Park, which we've been to numerous times as a clean sweep team. So there'll be an event going on there. I'm gonna help out at the Bell Center on Saturday morning to help with the rental information getting out. So check out all of the social medias. There's a lot going on. It is 12:55, and I am giving you all back 5 minutes of your time.
Well, thank you very much, Linda. I do appreciate you. I appreciate you guys. We have recorded this, and we'll make sure that we'll share this out. It's always a pleasure to spend a Friday afternoon with you, and we will see you.
Add one thing before we
Yes,
close
go ahead.
out. I just wanted to piggyback on what Keith Matthews was saying, and I can't reiterate enough that one of the beautiful things about Buffalo is that we do have a really strong community. We have community of neighbors, we have neighborhoods where people care about each other and help each other out. That's what our clean sweeps are all about, making our city stronger and better. And I'm just proud to be a part of this group and a part of Buffalo, and I really love the community that we have here.
Absolutely.
Listen,
One of our strengths. Yeah,
it is. We are a city of good neighbors, but it goes beyond that, and
it does.
it really does. Even when we are challenged, in whatever nature we are, the resiliency of each of us in our neighborhoods and our individual beings really stems out, and it makes us unique. So I am proud to be be and
Me
live
too.
in New York. I am a Buffalonian. So see you guys, and we'll see
All
you.
right.
Okay.
Have a great
Have a great
weekend. Bye,
weekend.
everybody. Thank you.
Okay.
I
Bye-bye.
appreciate all of you. Thanks.
Peace.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.